Alright, it's been weeks since I last recorded that video, so I'm sorry about that because I've kind of busy these past few weeks. So, oh, by the way, the Mac Mini is already fully set up and I have already upgraded it to SSD and it's ready to go. Yes. Alright, here we go. Let's turn on this Mac Mini now. By the way, I'm in my living room, so they are quite noisy here. So you'll hear some background noises, and I'm sorry about that because I'm not in my room. Alright, now it's in this logged in screen, so now let's unlock it. As you can see, I already set up my wallpaper because I've already been using this Mac Mini for the past week, so everything is set up and just going to show you how it performs. So let's go to about the Mac section here. Oh, by the way, as you can see, the Wi-Fi is a bit glitched out. Oh no, spinning beach ball. Alright, as you can see, it's already connected to my network, but sometimes it will gray out, just like my MacBook Pro 2015. There are some graphical glitch, but just a very minor thing. I think I opened it alright. Yeah, let's just give it some time and let's hop on to Safari. Oh no, bouncing. It's actually quite smooth though. Alright, now we got the Mac properties. So as you can see, it's a late 2014 Mac Mini with Intel Core i5, Iris graphics, 8 gigs of RAM, and it's running MACOS Sequoia right now. Alright, now let's move on to Safari and just check out the full spec for this Mac Mini. Alright, here we go. Mac Mini late 2014 specifications. For the processor, for the lowest base model, you can get the 1.4 GHz dual-core i5 with 2.7 GHz of turbo boost. Mine is the 2.6 GHz one, I think. Yep, mine is the 2.6 GHz one, so which means this is my specifications. Still Core i5 but slightly higher clock speed. And of course, you can also get the 2.8 GHz Intel Core i5 with 3.3 GHz of turbo boost with the 2.8 GHz of base clock speed. But of course, you can configure up to, either Intel Core i7 with these specifications. And let's move on to storage. Mine is actually it came with the 1TB hard drive. As you saw from my previous clip, is running the MacOS El Capitan that was running on the 1TB Spinnaker hard disk. It's not Fusion drive, it's just the hard disk with El Capitan installed. And now I've upgraded it to the third-party SSD with 512GB of storage. But if you want to know the storage configuration, here it is. And for the memory, for the base model with 1.4 GHz, you can get the 4 GHz of LPDDR3 memory, but you can top it up to either 8 or 16 GB of RAM. Of course, for the same as the 2.6 GHz and 2.8 GHz. So that means the lowest configuration for this late 2014 Mac Mini is 4 GHz, and you can upgrade it up to 16 GB of RAM. Mine is the 2.6 GHz with 8 GB of LPDDR3 memory. So for the graphic, mine is the Intel Iris graphic, as you can saw earlier. So for the size, this is the specification, and for the weight, mine is 1.2 kg or 2.6 pounds, but they are all quite similar. So for video support, mine has all these specifications, and I'm currently using the HDMI with 1800 in resolution for at least for this Dell SE2417, which supports 1080 resolution with 60 Hz of frame rate, support up to around 5K of resolution, not bad, but of course with 24 Hz of refresh rate. So for the audio line, these are everything you get. It has the 3.5 mm headphone jack, and of course audio line mini jack. I don't know why is this. I'm actually using this 3.5 mm for my headset. As you can see here, it's already connected to my Mac Mini. Alright, this is how the late 2014 Mac Mini looks like on the rear. You get all these ports, but unfortunately, since it was 2014, it doesn't have Type-C port as expected. But I'm just going to use Type-A on this Mac Mini, so it's not a big deal for me. And of course, the RJ45 Ethernet port and some fine details, as you can see, as you can read if you want to know more about it. So we are now going to cover this. You can just read it yourself. But unfortunately, for FreeCoff rendering, yeah, there are some technical glitches, I guess. But too bad we can't run this, unfortunately. And I'm not going to run the Blackmagic speed test because this is the third-party solid-state drive, so it's a bit unfair. So let's move on to Geekbench 6. So for the late 2014 Mac Mini, for the single core score you get 887, and for the multi-core score you get 1766. So if you compare to the latest Mac Mini 2024 with the M4 chip, this is the score for the single core. So yeah, it's very far behind. Even the M4 Pro is like slightly higher. Yeah, as you can see, it's lagging behind. Not a big deal for me. And of course, for the multi-core score, yeah, with the M4 Pro Mac Mini, the score is, yeah, damn far ahead. Wow. I guess I need to save up more to get at least the M2 Mac Mini, because on par with my M2 MacBook Pro with the M2 chip, hopefully I can afford it. Alright, anyway, let's move on to YouTube, and we are not going to test out the audio since this Mac Mini, it does have speaker, but I can just tell you the speaker is very awful because it's just a computer, so you aren't going to get a very good sound system on it, right? I mean, you're just going to use your computer with either a headset or your external speakers, which sounds a lot better. So we are not going to do the audio test here, but we are going to do the 4K video playback. Alright, let's increase the resolution to 1080p, which means Full HD. So enjoy the clip. Let me just turn off the lights. Alright, for Full HD, as you can see, is very well. So let's increase the resolution to 4K. And let's see if this Mac Mini can handle it. Yeah, it's very lagging. The frames is very low, because this is quite surprising, because I saw some 2012 iMac, late 2012 iMac, it can play 4K video very well. I mean, not full frame rate, but at least a lot better than my late 2014 Mac Mini. So I'm wondering why my late 2014 is like 2 years newer than the 2012 iMac from the YouTube I saw, which can handle 4K video well, but mine cannot. Alright fams, I have just reinstalled the root patcher on my late 2014 Mac Mini because the previous root patcher got some issues on the driver, so I need to reinstall it back. And you know what? After I reinstall everything back, it can run 4K well now. Let me increase the resolution to 4K, and you know what? It works now. This thing works in 4K. I mean, it got some lags and some shuttering here and there, but it works. Fine, let's test out the audio with 50% of the volume. And by the way, my Mac Mini is underneath my table, so the audio is a bit far from my phone's microphone, so don't expect good sound quality. This is in 50% of volume. Now let's crank it up to 100%. I mean, as I said, no one is going to use the PC's built-in speaker for audio playback, right? You're just going to get the external speakers, or just like me, a headset for your audio. So as I said, good or bad is not important, at least for me. And by the way, the late 2014 Mac Mini and even the current Mac Minis only has one speaker driver. So as I said, don't expect a very good sound quality unlike the MacBooks or any other laptops which has a better speaker setup. Alright, this is just a bonus for this video. I'm trying to use Figma on this late 2014 Mac Mini. This is actually for my assignment, so I'm just going to try it out on this late 2014 Mac Mini. So hopefully it runs well. I will just show you how the late 2014 Mac Mini handles Figma. I don't see any sliders to navigate. Oh my god. Where is it? Zoom out. Never mind, let's just play it. Hopefully it runs well. There's nothing. Yeah, I don't think Figma is running well on this late 2014 Mac Mini. Yeah, never mind. So Figma is not running well on this device. I mean, I get some, you know, interface here for your layouts, everything, and some of your properties, but I don't see my project. So very L, it's kind of L, but damn. Never mind, let's just move on to Roblox. That was such a L though, by the way. Let's try my game. It's open for public, but I haven't fully developed the game yet, so stay tuned. Alright, let's just skip the intro. So I think the graphics are all set to default. Yep, automatic. And let's see how it runs. So far so good, it runs well. I don't see any frame drops here and there. Yep, a bit is slightly sluggish, but so far it's beyond my expectations. And I have already been fully optimized my game for older hardware, so I hope it runs well on your old devices too, some older devices. But of course, if you are using on the more newer modern device, that will not be a problem. Alright, so let's just reset. Yeah, there are some frame drops here. By the way, please try my game out. I actually put a lot of effort on this. So actually this game is about, you know, hang out, vibe, just hang out with your friends, chit-chatting. But of course, I took it to another level. As you can see, the surrounding is all full of neon with clouds everywhere. That means you're in the sky with full of neons. So of course, no light theme here. Everything are all dark theme. But this Mac Mini still handles well. Alright, now let's teleport to my another game, the Vibe Garden. This game is fully open for public. I've already been fully developed for this game, so you can try it out. Except for the fountain show. I haven't actually done any scripting and development for the fountain show yet, so it's just on its idle mode. Let me just show you my fountain models. Please check out my game. This game is already fully open for the public. Alright, can I just turn up my volume? This game is a lot more lightweight compared to that one, so as I say, it's going to run better, at least run a lot better. Runs well for everyone because I'm actually did put a lot of effort on this game, which optimize every hardware, older hardwares. And by the way, this is the fountain show that I said just now. As you can see, they are all in their idling mode because I haven't started my scripting yet. I've done the music for the fountain show, but for the scripting I haven't done it yet, so yeah, stay tuned. So for Roblox, it's running very well, but now let's move on to a more intensive game. Wait, uplift? What? Alright, whatever. I forgot. Whatever, just let me go out, please. Oh yeah, exit home. So we just teleport to the main maps. Hey. It's actually running very well. With automated graphics, at least. But still, it runs well, as you can see, for adult me. So I think for Roblox gaming, I think you can actually kind of play on it. There are some frame drops here and there, but still very playable. It's actually beyond my expectation, at least for gaming. I think that the Intel Iris graphic on this Mac Mini is still very capable on Roblox. We are not going there. Yeah, so in summary, Roblox is running very well. I mean, not very well, but it's beyond my expectation. Of course, there are some frame drops here and there, but just some minor frame drops. It still handles well. But I still don't know why Figma, it can't handle Figma for some reason. Probably because it's kind of intensive because my Mac Mini only has 8GB of RAM. But let's give it a try again. Let's give it a shot. One more time. Last try. I was planning to just show you all how I edit my assignment, to just let you all see how the Mac Mini runs. But unfortunately, it can't seem to load anything. So that's very L. That's very L. Damn. Whatever. So let me try another thing, which is called airdrop. As I said, I actually did compile some GarageBand MIDI on my late 2040 Mac Mini, but it's already been transferred to my M2 MacBook Pro. As you can see here, this is my M2 MacBook Pro. So I'm now going to turn on my M2 MacBook Pro and airdrop all the MIDI files from my MacBook Pro to this late 2040 Mac Mini and just test out the speed of the airdrop. Alright, let's open it up. So as I said, airdrop works. Wi-Fi, airdrop, Bluetooth, even though it's already patched to MacOS Sequoia, just like my 2015 MacBook Pro, everything works. Except for some graphical glitch, especially on the Wi-Fi icon. It sometimes will grey out for some reason. By the way, this is a sneak peek for my upcoming Fountains music. So stay tuned. As I said, stay tuned. I will try my best to just quickly get everything done for the fountain and just let you all enjoy it. So these are all my MIDI that I compiled and I made. As you can see, the late 2014 Mac Mini runs very well. So no doubt, if you are running the GarageBand on your late 2014 Mac Mini, it surely can handle as well, unless you add more tracks on your MIDI. If you added more tracks, I mean, let's just be honest, it's already like 11 years old. So if you are adding more and more tracks on for your digital instruments, of course it's going to throttle down the performance. So don't expect it runs well. Alright, so in the end, should you get the late 2014 Mac Mini in 2025? Well, I should say, depends. Or probably you shouldn't, unless you can get it for a very good price. Like mine I only got it for less than $75 or 350 ringgit. Of course, I actually did buy the 512GB of SSD for it, which cost me another $25 brand new. So to sum up, I got this Mac Mini with the SSD for around $100, which is actually pretty decent already. I should tell you, it's actually quite decent, especially how the Apple's hardware value holds. But in conclusion, if you are planning to get the late 2014 Mac Mini, just get the 16GB model. I mean 16GB RAM model. Of course, if it's running on the hard disk, you can just upgrade it to solid state drive. The hard disks are all upgradable, but the RAM are all soldered. So better just get the 16GB model of the late 2014 Mac Mini. But I still recommend you all to get the M1 Mac Mini, at least the M1 Mac Mini or the M1 MacBook Air. M1 is actually a game changer. Mine is the M2 MacBook Pro. It's run a lot better than my late 2014 Mac Mini as expected. But for general use, if you are just going to use it for a general purpose like writing documents, web browsing, and some light video and photo editing, it's going to run well. If you are more to like AAA gaming or other kind of high heavy graphic gaming, the late 2014 Mac Mini is not going to handle it. Come on, let's be honest. Even though in 2014, when Apple launched this Mac Mini, it's not targeted for gamers. It's just for productivity use. So the performance for gaming, don't expect too much on these older Mac Minis. Not even the 2018 ones. If you want, just get the M1 Mac Mini. As I said, this thing still holds up very well in 2025, especially given it has already been 11 years. So that's it for my video. I hope you enjoy, and please consider like, subscribe and share. They are all free, and check out my social medias and my Roblox game. Thank you, and I will see you soon. Skibidi, peace out. Alright, let me just shut down my Mac Mini. Never mind, I'm just going to use it. So peace out, skibidi, bye.